Welcome to a brand new episode of TVGP's Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello.
We are here to talk about 2022's Spiderhead. That's all one word. Spiderhead. Starring, as you can probably guess, one Miles Teller. As we are
Yes.
still knee-deep in our Why Do We Hate Them, Miles Teller season. We've already watched two movies here that I think were, well known before then for maybe different reasons. And we're going into, I think, a Netflix direct movie, it appears, starring Miles Teller and Chris Hemsworth. Do you know anything about this movie going
Nope.
in? Is that the most you've
Not
heard
a
of it?
single thing.
Okay.
I even don't know that much about this movie that I forgot that we were doing it as part of this season.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I think flew completely under the radar in a way that I'm curious to see what it's about. You know, we at the end of every year we do our famous infamous of kind of like, here's a movie that's popular because it was great or beloved. Here's a movie that's popular or famous because it was very much the opposite. I'm really curious about movies like this, especially ones that go straight to Netflix, that are just
Because it's a mixed bag, is what I found with Netflix. Like,
right.
when they do a direct to Netflix release, sometimes it's the greatest thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yep.
Please see last year's infamous famous
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
Yep.
Or it's a big bag of doo-doo.
Right. And I like when there's a movie that gets released to Netflix where you're like, wow, like why wasn't this in theater? Like why was Netflix the only one to pick it up? That's kind of wild. Part of the thing that I'm curious about here as well is seeing Chris Hemsworth outside of the MCU, because I'm struggling with, I'm going to look it up here in a minute on his Wikipedia page. I'm struggling to think of things that I've seen him in outside of, hey, this dude is Thor. And I think that's interesting, especially him playing alongside Miles Teller.
Yes. He seemed, well, the only other thing I know Chris Hemsworth from is Mad Max, which he is in
Sure.
Furiosa.
Sure. True.
And I'm pretty sure he's been in a bunch of like soldier movies where he's a soldier, but that's about it. This feels like the traditional combo of the slim nerdy guy and the big beefed up Brutus guy from like the 80s and 90s kind of style of films.
Yeah, but like Chris Hemsworth in real life is not that big. Like when
No, he's not. I mean, he's genuinely funny and
yeah.
hilarious and crazy. Go listen to him talk about his twin sons at any point. It's absolutely hilarious.
Also Australian, which is great.
Yes, very, very Australian.
I didn't know his first acting role here was in 2009 Star Trek.
Yes, he was.
It says he's George
he was
Kirk.
Yes, he's Kirk's dad who dies in the opening.
Right.
Which is what splits the timelines. Is
Gotcha.
He dies and
Okay.
doesn't go on to the famous career. Because he did that, and then because him and the other Chris
Pine.
yes, were both going for the Thor job at the same time, and
Oh, right.
Hemsworth got it because Chris Pine had scheduling issues.
That's great. Yeah, because I'm looking through his filmography here. It's, primarily the MCU stuff. I also forgot he was famously or infamously, I'm not sure which, in Snow White and the Huntsman, which spun out into like one or two other Huntsman related movies.
Oh, isn't he the huntsman of that movie?
I believe so, yeah. So that's apparently he's also in Jay and
It
Silent
feels
Bob
like,
reboot, which
of course,
Chris Hemsworth plays.
everybody's probably in that,
Yeah.
and he probably plays Thor in that. Is the really scary
Says
part
he
of that
plays
whole thing.
himself. So I don't.
Okay.
Maybe it's him dressed up as like a spirit Halloween Thor. That would be how I would cast him in a movie.
Yes. But no, I literally don't know anything about this, and like I said, it just like the casting and the photo, the poster that we've got here just makes me think of those like I mean, okay, so not to harken back to a terribly good bad movie in our list here,
Okay.
but tell me this poster doesn't remind you of the Judge Dredd with Sly Stallone and the creepy little guy as
Uh-huh.
his like
Yeah,
partner in crime.
it's evoking that like 70s, 80s kind of like, here are the two big stars on the poster, and here's someone
And
else.
one's a big beefcake, and one's a tiny little shrimpy dude.
Yeah, and then we have someone else on the poster, but they're too small to sell. It says Journey Smollett.
Yes,
Smollett.
it's probably a woman.
Yeah, that's why she's small on the poster. 'Cause Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
sucks.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any final thoughts here before we go in?
I literally don't know a thing about this movie. I don't know
Yep.
what the plot is. I don't know how well it's been received.
Yep.
I know nothing.
Yeah. Truly flying blind here. All right. On that note, let's just go watch the film.
Yep.
All right, we are back. We're back from a mysterious testing facility where things are fine.
Hush prison.
Yeah, they're totally fine. Everything's going great in there. I do before we get started here, I do want to mention the director here, Joseph Kosinski, who I didn't recognize the name of, but directed Tron Legacy, a favorite. Top Gun Maverick, F1, and then worked on the Gears of War Mad World commercial, you know, that famous one, and then Halo 3's Starry Night commercial, that famous one, among like a whole bunch of other incredibly famous stuff. I was like, oh, dang. Okay, well, that probably would have, if Netflix had maybe promoted that, I may would have seen this earlier.
A little bit better.
Yeah. I didn't write any notes for this movie until the very end, because I was just kind of watching the movie, which is not common for me during these. I don't even know. I don't even know where to start.
I mean, let's start with the premise. It's a scientific research facility that's got a bunch of prisoners who have agreed to go there.
Yep.
To quote unquote go on their sentences.
Yeah, and they're doing injectable medical tests on them with
Yes.
well,
I wouldn't even say medical. I would say injectable tests.
true. They are they
none of this seems like a medicine.
Yeah, I think there's kind of the thing that I think is interesting about Chris Hemsworth character Steve is there's such a like Silicon Valley altruism in his role of like, what we are doing here helps humanity. You don't know what's out there. It's terrible. I've seen the terrible things. We're fixing the terrible
Silicon
things.
Valley tech bro specifically.
Yeah.
Altruism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I mean when I say Silicon Valley. But like, I love his portrayal of this thing of like, I'm the only one that knows what's out there because you did terrible things, so you're trapped in here. But I know the truth, and I know that what we're doing is the good thing. And I think that goes a long way for me to selling his character of like even before you know what happens at the end of the movie, none of these experiments are good. Like, none of them are like, oh, this makes somebody, like, a lot more chill. It's fine. Like, the movie opens with them injecting a guy with a thing that makes him laugh uncontrollably, no matter what subject matter he's told. Which is like a really great intro for this movie. But, like, none of them are like, oh, well, we gave you a drug that just, like, makes you chill out a little bit. No big deal. It's cool.
No, nothing at least until we get to G46.
That's right. But they're all like, oh, you're going to try to bash this other person's skull in. Or a thing in the room is going to terrify you so much. You've never been so scared in your life. And I think that's really interesting from a story perspective here of, like, all of them are extreme. Like, all of the drugs are extreme. It's not just, this one makes you lose weight, this one makes you happy, this one makes you sad. It's like, nope, this one's gonna make you try and murder this other person. Good luck. Get in there, bud. I think that's really great. And I one of the things that I think is the most outstanding for me in this movie is just how everybody in this movie that I can think of is, like, using their acting chops to the fullest. Like,
Yes.
like, everybody is acting their pants off in this movie, and
it's kind of a box movie. Like, it only really takes place in, like, 3 locations.
That's a good point. Yeah, and I think because of that, like so many of these, like, box episode shows or movies or whatever, like, the acting is really gonna do the heavy lifting there much more than other works. And I think so many people in this movie, especially kind of like the big 4, it's like Jeff, who's Miles Teller's character, Steve, Lizzie, who's Journey Smollett's character, and then the guy who plays Steve's assistant. Was that Mark?
Yes. Mark.
Yeah. The 4 of them, I feel like, are kind of the heart of this movie, and I think all of them, even Mark, who doesn't have, like, a ton of screen, or, like, maybe he has a lot of screen time, he doesn't have a ton of like, lines he's speaking. All of them, I think, turn in an incredible performance.
Yes. I think that's the thing to take away from this movie is, like, the big 4, like, their performance is so on point, it's unreal. I do like Nathan Jones's brief appearance in this movie as lost his name, the big bald guy with face tattoos. Rogan.
Yep, he's really good. Yep. I think well, before I get into a criticism, I do really like how the movie, throughout the entire runtime, is kind of flirting with why Jeff is here. Like, what was his thing that he did that got him into this, like, prison experiment, fancy pants place. And I like that there's always kind of these brief flashes and brief moments that kind of get extended and twisted and turned and cleared up over time. I think that really worked for me, other than, like, here's the one shot of him being like, I just had one bad night. It's this kind of unfolding thing throughout the film. I think my one criticism of this and this might be a little shocking. I think it was like a little bit shorter than I wanted it to be. I know I'm like the 90-minute movie guy, but I feel like they they get into the crux of the movie, and then Jeff finds the bingo card, and seemingly like before you know it, and then the whole thing kind of starts to unravel pretty quickly after that. And it's a movie that really moves at a pretty brisk pace, and I feel like I kind of wish that there was like a little bit more tension between Steve and Jeff as Steve continues to unravel. He's like getting high on his own supply, and having that kind of unraveling happening. I feel like there was tension leading up to that, and especially tension once Jeff knows what the deal is. But then things start to accelerate very quickly after that, which I was kind of surprised by.
They do, and I think like part of the issue I have like with this movie is it feels I mean, I don't know about you. I did some looking into this. It was literally filmed in the pandemic in Australia, so
okay, that makes sense.
that's why it feels like a box movie, is because there's very limited like sharing of spaces.
What did they call that? The like bubbles? What was that during the pandemic? They had like the
bubbles was the pandemic. Stay in your bubbles.
Yeah,
like, everyone should have their bubbles.
So it's not a box film; it's a bubble film.
Yes, it's a bubble film instead of a box film.
That's right.
And like I think there is so much potential in this concept.
Yeah.
Like so much potential for everything else, but I feel like the fact that it breaks down to basically just a prison break movie feels kind of to me.
Yeah.
Especially when you realize at the end, minus spoilers alert, go watch the movie if you haven't, that their sentence has actually been, mitigated, and like one is free on appeal, and the other one's like could have left like 4 months ago or whatever it was.
Steve tells Jeff that he could have left 7 months ago. Like that's just and
it's like lean into that more,
Yeah, like we're sitting here talking about this, and this might be the only time I've been thinking about this, but this almost feels like something that could have been like a 4 or 5 part miniseries with a little bit more time to breathe and like a little bit more time to like build up the tension and the mystery, and I would have been okay with that. But it feels so condensed in this that it's like very rapid.
I hate to phrase it this way, but like Black Mirror does this better, and Black Mirror does it in an hour.
Yeah,
like Black Mirror is the quintessential dystopian future hellhole, except it's a different one each time, and it's always an hour long, and it's just like, yeah, bro, thanks for making me feel the worst I've ever felt.
Yeah, because like even when Jeff starts having Mark inject him with more and different things, and he's starting down the thing of like, how can I tell the stakeholders that and like the medical board that this is perfectly safe if I can't vouch for it? And like his unhingedness, I feel like doesn't last for long enough. It comes on very quickly, and all of a sudden he's being a real jerk to Mark. And Mark is like, yeah, bro, what's going on here? And I was like, yeah, why have you turned from this like medical angel with his hand on your shoulder to just like, get it done, Mark?
Yeah. The muskification is real.
That's right. And like, it's really tough because I did really like this movie, except for one part that I have a fairly big problem with that's not this movie's fault that we'll get to later. And I feel like having more of the tension, having more of the there's so many characters in this movie that all are living on this island together, and they've all done something to be there. Like, it's very much you could have gone to the bad prison. You're in the soft prison. Like, as much of a troubling message as that is. But, like, you don't get to see any of those people. You see the Joust arcade machine for a lot longer than you see, like, the dude that's eating too much and throwing up in a bucket. He's in the movie twice. So, like, I kind of wish, for as great as so many of those characters were, I feel like I wish you saw a lot more of them kind of overall. I don't know. It's
And you could have done with like a flashback series on each of the people.
right.
Credit where it's due, though, that car crash flashback is nightmarish.
It's so, like, one of my favorite things about this too is Miles Teller's. Look, Miles Teller is turning in an incredible performance throughout this whole movie. I liked his performance a lot, and I love his delivery on the line when he's behind the wheel and someone's like, "Hey man, you cool to drive?" And he goes, "Ice cold." Like, just the cheesiest, like, worst performance of it. But I'm like, if you're drunk, that probably sounds really cool in your head, and you say it and you're like, "That's the coolest thing I've ever said in my life." This is great.
Especially when you're absolutely smashed off your face with two of your friends in the party.
Yep. And with how much both you and I had a problem with Miles Teller's incredible performance as the worst person you've ever seen in Spectacular Now.
I hate that guy so much, dude.
I feel like I'm kind of surprised that they don't lean into more of that stuff in this movie. We get the current day Miles Teller, the, like, really downtrodden, like, beaten down character, and I think that works so well for him, and he turns in an incredible performance that I genuinely wasn't expecting out of him. Like, I was expecting of Chris Hemsworth, because he's a great actor too, but, like, that scene with the two of them high on that laughing drug, and Miles Teller, like, turning on a dime when he figures
that's
out...
G46, that's the good stuff.
Yeah, that is the good stuff. Like, Jeff turning on a dime at the end when he realizes, like, oh, this is for real. Like, I have to find a way to stop whatever this is. Like, that's such... It's... All of them are really good in a way that I maybe fairly or unfairly wasn't expecting out of Miles Teller, since he's the focal point of the season. I wasn't really expecting out of him in this movie, and it feels like it's kind of like a step up from Fantastic Four, which, like, yeah, I'm a scientist, and I'm missing for half of the movie. See you later. He feels like the main character in a Spectacular Now, not in a bad way, but in a way where you're like, God, this guy's just the worst. Oh my God. Okay, here's another scene. Yep. Oh
this
God.
Is this your headcanon that this is the grown-up version of him?
That'd be so great if he was... What was his name? Sutter in Spectacular Now?
Yes.
Yeah. Sutter changed his name when he got into prison. But I feel like charting his progression over these three movies, it's pretty impressive to see him being a solid actor with a punchable character in the first movie to kind of just not a whole lot in Fantastic Four to feeling like there's the kind of next acting step up here in this movie. And I think it's pretty impressive to give him
and it's funny because, like, like this was filmed right before or during the pandemic,
Hmm.
and um Top Gun came out like 3 weeks before this movie did,
Oh wow.
apparently.
Okay.
So like the cross production wires there is quite interesting.
Yep.
But it does feel like his performance in Top Gun learned a bit from this one.
True. Right. 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 And also like how much of the like ice cold line is like, "Hey man, I was in Top Gun. That was cool."
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. I
Yep.
don't. I so my one problem about this with this movie, that I
Lack of government oversight,
well
because
that's
that's kind of where we're at already.
let's talk about Silicon Valley. I this isn't. I don't think this is a problem with this movie specifically. I think it's a problem with Netflix specifically. That I I genuinely really enjoyed this movie up until the very end where they're like sailing off into the sunset, and there's that really hokey voiceover about like no drug can give us self-forgiveness. We got to work on. I
Yes.
was "Oh my god, like you almost undermined your entire message of your movie by trying to wrap it up in less than 30 seconds for people that have been on their phone for the last 90 minutes." Like, you don't it's not it didn't ruin the movie, but it's like, oh boy, you were already Netflix, you were already doing it in 2017 or 2022 when this came out. Like, you don't have to feed people that aren't paying attention at the end of the movie. It'll
Yes.
be okay. Um, that was a little bit of a bummer because it
Yeah, and it's that rumor that came out that we heard about. I can't remember who it was. I think it was a producer or a director who was, thanks, Louise, who was basically told, yeah, you need to basically say what's going on every 10 minutes because people are not paying attention.
yep.
It's like, then let them not pay attention.
Yeah.
As long as it's getting watched, what do you care?
Yeah, exactly. That's what this felt like. A lot of like, oh wait, we gotta say the message out loud for anybody that's not paying attention. It's like, oh god, you like really don't. Like, you also just got done doing this like action packed prison break, which is like, and then a plane crashed into the side of a mountain and exploded in a giant fireball. Like, you already dig the
Uh-huh.
big action stuff. Like, you're fine. You can just roll credits. It's okay. Um,
Yeah. I know some people who could definitely use Verbulence, though. I'll tell. By the way, the drug names in this are great.
Drug names are really
Verbulence
good.
is a fantastic name.
Yep. Yeah. I I kind of wish we got a little bit more with some of them. I liked the play between was Verbulence was the one where like makes everything really pretty. Is that the one?
No, that was the love one. Verbulence was the one that allowed them to speak better.
Oh,
Me
okay.
speak proper good language.
Yeah, I like that Jeff's description of the drug that made everything beautiful wasn't good enough, so they pumped him
Hmm.
with this speaking better one to like
Because he keeps saying good, and they actually reference the fact that, like, yo, bro, you really like that word. We need something more, please.
yeah, we need something more than good. And like that play between the two of them, I think was really interesting, and we didn't really get a ton more than that. Kind of for obvious reasons because of the drug that's underlaying throughout the entire movie, the like obedience drug that they're taking, which is
Oh,
B6. Um, like that makes a little bit sense, but like I don't know. It seems like my biggest, not bummer of the movie, but maybe mild frustration is like I wish we saw a little bit more. I think so much of this is cool. I know it's based
yes.
on a book or a like a series of short stories. So I should probably just go read that. But like there feels like there's enough here to be interesting, and we just kind of... I wish we got more, which is maybe a good position to be left wanting more. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like they could do more with it, but also it feels a little bit wasted. Like it's a 50-50 split for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I also the licensed music in this,
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
Blinding Me with Science is like the most on the nose one. It's so on the nose, I feel like that one gets a pass. But a lot of them are just like, okay, these are just hits from the 80s. Like I don't even know, like it reminds me of growing up, there's a radio station in Cleveland that my mom always listened to that played the hits of the 70s, 80s, and today. Like, that's what this felt like, was just sort of like, we're just going to play the top couple of songs here for this hour on the radio, and they happen to be in this movie without feeling like they have a place, I think. It's very odd. I don't know. All right, you have any kind of final thoughts here before we go on to the ratings? I don't know what else to talk about on this movie.
It's not
tough.
a bad watch.
Yeah.
Like it's genuinely not a bad watch. Like it's not performances of the year, but I think solid performances across the board.
Mm-hmm.
It's not story of the year, but I think it's a decent enough story. Like it's kind of tropish in ways like that you'd expect it to be based on the concepts that you were introduced to at the start.
Yep.
But it's a decent little watch. Like it's what, an hour 30 basically, not
Something
including
like that.
credits.
Yeah.
Like it's not that bad at all to like just chump down and give it a watch through.
You know, you putting it in a nutshell like that, sort of. It to me, it's like the ultimate Netflix film. Like it's one of those that you can probably watch a trailer for as you're scrolling through Netflix, and you're like, "Oh, that looks pretty cool." Like I don't have anything to watch. It's less than 2 hours. It should be fine, and like all of it is good. It's not the best movie you have seen that year or this year. It's certainly not the worst one. I would hope. It's a solid like Saturday afternoon movie, something you'd see on TBS, where it's like, I got nothing to do. I can watch this, sure. And I don't think that's bad. I just think it feels a lot like a Netflix movie, for better or for worse. All right, let's get into the ratings here. On IMDb, 5.5 out of 10 with 73,000 ratings. On Letterboxd, we have it at a 39% on the tomato meter with 154 reviewer reviews, a 30% on the popcorn meter with only 1,000 ratings, which is way lower than we usually see. And on Letterboxd, a 2.5 out of 10. 2.5.
I mean, that's right bang in the middle across the board. Like,
yeah.
Literally, I mean, I would probably go 6, maybe 7.
I could go 7 on a good day out of 10. Yeah, I feel like I'm in that like 3 out of 5, 6 out of 10 range. Like, I didn't feel like I wasted my time at all. Again, I think the performances were way more solid than I was expecting. And I thought the story was a lot of fun, if not a little bit speedier than I sort of wanted. And I don't know, I had a good time at the cinema, which I don't think we always get to say on this show. So we'll kind of take the wins where we get it.
Go see the first episode of this season for a bad time at the cinema.
I mean, even the second episode of the season, we're sort of like, it's done. Okay. Oh, sure. We are the Fantastic Four. Sure. So I don't know. I thought it was fine. It's good. I'll take it. All right, we've got one more movie left here in the Miles Teller. I was going to call it an apology tour, but I don't think he's done anything wrong. Maybe he's apologizing to us for portraying Sutter too well in The Spectacular Now. So
Mhm.
hopefully you'll join us for the very last one. We'll see you then. Bye.
A boy.